Hey YouTube, what's up? It's me, Amaxter. We're back with episode 16 of Behind the Mod, and for this episode, I'm honored to have Vazkii on the show, who is the author of Botania, Quark, Pillar, Psi, and lots of other mods. Hello.
Hey, well, I have to say, you're one of the few people who can actually pronounce my name. That's actually quite a nice award there for you.
Yay. That's a gold star for me. So yeah, you've been involved, I guess, in the modding community a while, and you've done lots of things. But I guess let's begin with the obligatory question. What got you involved to the point where you are now with modding?
Well, I have been modding for quite a while now. I started 2011, April. It depends on where you look at it, because I started in April with a copy pasta hack job mod. I didn't know how to program back then, so I just copy pasted some stuff. Then 1.6 came around, like beta 1.6, and like, oh, I have no idea how to update this, and I didn't. And then 1.7 came around, and I went back, and well, nah, I'm still here. I'm still here. It's been a while. It's been like 5 years now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of time flies in the Minecraft community, and I guess lots has changed in just like the kind of the modding scene. We have obviously, different big mods. We've gone from a world dominated by IC2 to the RF world, and now we're looking at all sorts of different stuff with 1.9 and 1.10. But yeah, so you
Sorry.
obviously, it's fine. You obviously have these, big content focused mods like Botania and I guess more recently Quark of sorts that people know about. But you also make lots of smaller individual mods like Neat, which is a kind of a HUD mod which adds damage indicators and mods like that you kind of make really often. What kind of leads you to release all these smaller utility focused mods?
Well, often it's because A, I want them, B, someone else wants them and it's easy for me to do, or C, I'm just bored and, oh, maybe I can do this. And that's how many of them end up existing, really.
Yeah, so
There's nothing too crazy. I thought about making like a client suite for multiplayer usage, because I used to play a lot of SMP on vanilla servers, and I just throw in some client mods that would be useful. This was back in 1.4, 1.5, I believe, back when we had advanced AGD and some of the other stuff I did.
yeah, well,
But
I
I
think
actually never got around to that, and we just have a bunch of small mods instead.
lots of the smaller mods you kind of make, I can tell they're geared towards, I guess, mod pack authors. Like lots of them like Pillar, which is a structure generation mod, and Ambience, which lets people make their own custom soundtracks. So I guess what kind of leads to that? With the focus on mod packs and that kind of thing.
I wouldn't say that myself, actually. Like, I think the only mod I made whose objective is for mod packs is Vocation. Pillar is, in my opinion, one for players to use, because it's very user friendly. Like, mod packs are usually something more, more complex. I don't know, like
Hmm.
what you'd use to like say HQM or whatever. But Pillar, I think, is more for players because, hey, I want a bit more exploration. So you might spend like 30 minutes building something cool and adding it to the world, and yeah, there you go, it's there. But yeah, I can
So
see being used in mod packs as well. And to be honest, that was my intention to use it in my own mod pack. So it's technically for me as a player, but I guess other people in mod packs can use it as well. Vocation is obviously for mod packs. There's no talk about that. Ambience was also for me because I wanted to listen to RuneScape music while playing, so I just made that.
So is it kind of like, so I guess it's kind of a personal thing, but it's also you want to make some of these things more accessible, like to people, like because before, it's obviously not very easy to make your own custom soundtrack or to make your custom structures without the help of another mod. So it's kind of taking those things that people probably could already do, but making them more accessible.
Well, the custom structures mod is a reincarnation of Gen Creator, which is a mod I made back in beta 1.5. Sorry, release 1.5. Which lets you, it's basically the same thing. It lets you just select a boundary and then make a structure that's generated in the world. That was nowhere near as robust as Pillar is, because it had to use its own generator, and Pillar uses the 1.10 structure block generator. So that's something that's been done already. Not just by me, but you also have, ruins, you have recurrent complex. This is just another implementation of it that's a lot simpler, and it uses the vanilla structure block features. Regarding ambience, though, like, as I never intended that to be a mod pack feature. Actually, like, it was just for me to listen to RuneScape music, but hey, it ended up as that. Vocation was made for Wild. Like, Wild was requesting something that's simple like that. I was like, hey, maybe I can add one that has voice acting and stuff. And yeah, that's how it ended up. I call it Vocation because you talk, like, it's voiced. So that's the name.
Yeah, I definitely think I haven't seen it personally myself, but I look forward to mod packs using Vacation for questing and just other stuff. I think When you have audio stuff like that, it really adds a lot to the experience. But back to Pillar, like you mentioned, I do really like. I mean, obviously we have mods like Recurrent, Complex, and Ruins, but Pillar, not only does it simplify it, but it integrates so well into vanilla because it uses the structure blocks. I guess, do you plan to do more of that kind of stuff, where like you take existing content that Mojang has done and make your mod like really neatly work around it?
In some cases, like I don't really have that many of those things because most of what vanilla has, like how do I say this? It's either undercooked by on purpose because Minecraft is meant to be a simple game. Like nothing in Minecraft is super complex, at least not the level of complexity you get with some mods. But I find that you can extend it like, hey, here's the enchantment system, add more enchantments. Or you can extend it like, oh, here's the enchantment system. Here's a new way to enchant with some new attributes and stuff, and it's different to the rest of the enchantment system. Like you can extend horizontal or upwards, I guess you could say that way. And I prefer to extend upwards rather than horizontal, except with Quark. Quark is more horizontal, but Quark is not meant to be a mod that adds many mechanics. It's just something that's really simple stuff to the game. And if I'm gonna make a small mod focused on one feature, it's gonna be extended upwards, not horizontally. And yeah, it's kind of hard to find a way to do that without breaking many things. Pillar is independent from the structure blocks. Like you, as long as you have an NBT file, it works, and you can generate the NBT file. I don't know, maybe there's a program for it. Maybe I think there might be a way to convert structures to NBT files. I don't know, but it would make sense to have that.
Yeah, you
So
definitely take like existing mechanics and kind of, I guess, extrapolate on them in lots of these smaller mods, and I think that's really something the vanilla Minecraft definitely needs, which is great. Obviously, Quark, you kind of add a lot of new features, some of which I feel like would be in, like should be in the game, some of which I like, but I think some people can agree on maybe like shouldn't be in the base game. But I think where'd you get the idea for Quark? Just adding all this kind of miscellaneous stuff that I guess that you enjoy yourself.
well, actually, Quark and Sire mods that I've been plotting for like 2 years now. I had the idea for a long time for both these mods. I know I've been plotting them for so long because I went to one of my old AMAs on Reddit and I saw that I was talking about them. Like, oh, I've been on these for quite a while now. Um, Quark is just something I've been building up. Like, hey, I want this and I want that and I want this feature. Maybe I can add it to Botania, but it doesn't fit too well. Maybe I can make a new mod for it, but it's too small. Ask for it. I just make one with all the things, and that's how it ended up.
So it's kind of just like eventually you kind of, I guess, have all these ideas and then you kind of finally spin it off into its own big mod.
Mm-hmm. I mean, quite a few of the things in Quark were in Botania or in other mods, like gaining surface and the like. It was more of an attempt to agglomerate everything I want vanilla to be in a single mod, like rather than here's stuff I want in the game. Like there's a lot of stuff I want in the game that I don't think would fit the game. Like if you get what I mean. Like I would like some method of temporary flight because that makes it a lot easier to do stuff. But at the same time, I recognize that something like that would not fit into vanilla too well.
Right. So it's kind of like but you also have like I guess simpler mods like emotes, which was its own mod I think back in
Oh,
1.7.
emotes was merged into Quark.
Yeah, now that's part of Quark. So I think it's kind of cool having just it does feel like when I install Quark, you're installing just a collection of vanilla mods that and
Mm-hmm.
maybe earlier would just be a lot of their own things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely fits into that style of play. I guess for lightweight packs, not necessarily vanilla theme packs like maybe FTB's Vanilla Plus, but for packs that aren't too kitchen sink.
Honestly, I'm gonna make a bet, and I'm gonna say that by the time 1.9 is popular, you're gonna see Quark in over 90% of the packs. I'm not being like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm so cool, but I'm just saying like it's something that, given how configurable it is, and given how so many features are on wide requests, I can see them being widely used.
Oh, for
Like
sure.
even for
Yeah.
any type of packs.
Yeah, it fits in great into a lot of things. And I think a theme we're seeing that we talked about on the show before in 1.9 and 1.10 is kind of these new mods replacing the old traditional stuff or just coming out of nowhere, like chisels and bits, just enough items, and of course Quark. I think all these mods, we're going to see a lot of them in 1.9 and 1.10, and I really look forward to what packs and just what the community in general does with them.
Yeah, like every time there's a new version, there's always that thing. There's always new mods popping up. Like in 1.5, you had Tinker's Construct. In 1.6, I have no idea what you had. But in 1.7, I started off with making Botania better than anything then. I had Applied Logistics 2. We had Farmcraft 4. Was Farmcraft 4 1.6?
It was, yeah, it was 1.6 the
Yeah,
first
so it was
version, I
okay.
think.
Farmcraft 4 was 1.6. There you go. 1.8, you have Chisels and Bits. You have Farmcraft 5. 1.9, you have Roots. You have, I guess, Quark. You have 1.8, you have Psi as well. Like new mods show up when there's a need for them. Like as I might think, like if you already have a saturated environment, people are less likely to go and search for new mods. If you're already settled with a 200 mod pack, you're not gonna go, oh, what new mods are there for me to try? You're gonna play with those. Like you have plenty of content there. Game you're actively playing, you're not gonna go actively search the Steam store for a new one until you finished it.
Right.
So you're
Like,
gonna finish it first, you know.
creatively, do you think like 1.9 and I guess more recently 1.10, which are now I guess basically the same for modders, do you think that it's kind of been I guess fertile ground for you to make like new concepts?
Not particularly, no. Like you have new mechanics you can use, like the Elytra, which is really cool, and you have the dual wielding, which lets you make a lot of new stuff. But most of these things, like you could already finagle back then. Like they aren't game changers. But to be fair, like there hasn't been a single update that has been a massive game changer. I mean, I guess you could say 1.4 because it added the Nether Star and suddenly every mod balances off it. But other than that, though, I don't think any update has been okay. We changed entirely how the game works. Make new mods based around this. There hasn't been much of that. Like most of the mods we have nowadays, I could see them implemented in older versions with a few tweaks and things here and there.
I guess I don't mean from like a content perspective because I think for largely for the modded community, kind of vanilla has kind of been irrelevant for a while. I think the main reason, honestly, that people adapt the newer versions is one because newer versions, people always want that, but two, it's mainly the technical stuff, which while it might be a pain to work around, I think does lead to better stuff. Like correct me if I'm wrong, but I think stuff like chisels and bits wouldn't really be possible the way it is implemented in like 1.7. So I guess from a technical perspective, and also just there not being that many mods available for it yet, do you think that kind of opens up an opportunity for these mods like Psy to kind of thrive?
Well, Chills and Bits is possible in 1.7, first and foremost. It's called the Vincing. It's not as good. It's a bit meh, but it works. You can do the things. But yeah, definitely better than 1.8. Regarding the new mods coming out, I think that's less about the version shift, more about, well, as I said, the saturation. Like when you join to a new version, you have a lot less groups, so people are more likely to use unknown and undiscovered and wacky mods. Like Psy, if I made Psy for 1.7, I can guarantee nobody would use it because it would just be, for one, it would be completely power creeped. There would be zero reason to use it, and like 1.7 is already such a saturated market that anything you can make with Psy, there's already a mod for it that does it better for you. Like one of my objectives with Psy is to allow the player themselves to replicate what other mods would give to you. Like for example, Botania might give you an item that gives you, actually doesn't. Blood Magic might give you an item that lets you fly, the Wind Sigil. But in Psy, you have to make some things to replicate that yourself. Some other mod might give you an item that turns nearby crops, gives them bone meal. You're gonna have to make a thing to replicate it yourself. But that's basically the idea with Psy. Like you want to make something, well, cool, make it yourself. And if I made it in an environment where there's so much saturation in what mods can do, if you're in 1.7, unless you have something super, 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 super specific, chances are you're gonna be able to find an item that does it for you. And you can't have a mod that encourages you doing things when everything is done for you already.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And I think 1.7, because you see so many kitchen sink packs that are basically, I think, feature complete in the sense that, like, I don't think we're going to see much more new innovative stuff for 1.7. That's all happening on newer versions. But I want to go back to Psy and kind of like you were on Meet Your Maker, and great show, by the way, talking about Psy a little bit and how you kind of wanted to use it to teach vectors, in a interactive and useful way in Minecraft. Was that design kind of inspired by like computer craft, or I guess more specifically computer craft edu, education version, whatever it's called, like that kind of idea of using Minecraft as this structural building block for teaching kids, I guess, concepts like that?
Well, the interface itself was definitely like I really like the grid-based interface of CCEDU, so I had made something like that. But originally, I was not intending this to be a teaching tool. I was like, okay, well, if you know vectors, you have some fun with this. But then I realized, hey, if you don't know vectors, you can use this to learn them, and that was like after I had almost all the mod done. So there you go. Like that was not the original intention, but I'm glad it actually turned out that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool to show someone, hey, like, you can learn about vectors by doing a packet or whatever, or you could, like, make yourself launch into the air or do, cool stuff with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that really helps just people kind of comprehend stuff like that. But yeah, I guess in going back to your, I guess, big mod, Botania, are you, I guess, working on your, the official mainline version of Botania for newer versions, or are you more focused on newer stuff like Psy?
No, I'm not working on Botania at all. Like it's been shelved temporarily. Like I might take it out sometime to do something with it, but right now it's there. If there's some massive bug, I'll fix it. It's been shelved for a few months. There hasn't been any massive bugs, so I'm going to assume there won't be now. But it's there. It's stable. You can play with it. But I'm not interested in updating it right now. I'm working on some other stuff.
So is it, I guess, you're busy or you're creatively fed up, or maybe I guess, do you not want to, like, because technically it must be really a big pain basically to update that to newer versions. So is it kind of like fatigue, like technically or creatively, would you say?
Well, if I wanted to update to a newer version, I would just fork wheelless fork and pull it back into main branch. That'll take me like 5 minutes. But the thing is, the wheelie took like 4 months to update it, and it's still broken as hell. So I'm not exactly interested in that. No.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that
Like
makes sense.
the time it takes me to do an update for 1.8 Botania, I could make like 2 or 3 new mods that people would enjoy. Point in case, I did. They call Quark and Pillar.
Exactly.
There you go. Also made Morpho Tool, and I ported a bunch of other mods. And then I did a lot of stuff during the time it took him to port a single one. So
Yeah,
you
you have
know,
a lot of tiny mods, or not all of them are tiny. Some of them are big, but you have a lot of mods for newer versions. So you have Botania, kind of, obviously you're not as interested on that anymore, but you're focused on these newer mods, and it, like you mentioned, you're able to kind of get them out creatively, and just it's kind of frees you up, I guess. So is there anything kind of else big that you're, other big stuff that you're working on, in the absence of Botania?
well, Psy is feature complete right now. I am considering making a Psy 2.0, getting a lot of new stuff and changing how many things work. Not sure about that. I'm still thinking about it. It's a possibility, but you know, no no specifics right now. Quark is still actively in development, though I'm not doing as much as it right now because I'm waiting on some bugs, seeing if it's stable or not before I start adding more stuff. I have plans for a new mod, which I talked about on Meteor Maker, but it's still very early, and chances are I probably won't do it because I won't have that much time. What else? Pillar, I think I might give it a bit more of an update or two because I want to get some more stuff in there, and there are a few bugs I need to fix in Neat. But right now, I don't have that much on my plate.
Hmm. I guess talking more generally, your opinions on Curse are pretty well known, like, among the core community. With you kind of being able to upload malware to CurseForge, and I guess more recently making a custom tool to download Curse modpack
So
files.
wait a minute. What are my opinions on Curse?
Well, I guess maybe I shouldn't use the word opinions, but I guess you've done stuff like, you've kind of demonstrated that it's possible to upload malware to Curse.
Well,
Like,
you're taking that out of context, though. I like Curse. That's what a lot of people don't get. Like I
I'm
actually like Curse a lot.
I'm
But the
not saying you
thing,
don't like Curse. I'm just saying that, I guess, things you've done recently, like, not in the sense that, like, you made this custom tool for people to download Curse modpack files without the need of Curse voice. I don't think that's, obviously not an aggressive act against them. I guess, is that more of, like, for people, maybe I have Discord or maybe I have Skype. I don't need Curse voice. I don't want this. I don't need this thing. Is it kind of like a utility thing?
no, it's for people in Linux. It's for people in Linux, basically. Like I actually prefer to use CurseForge because if you use CurseForge, I get money from your downloads. But like if you're in Linux, you can't download the mod packs. Like, hey, here's a little tool you can use to download it. And there are already tools that did that, but they were very non-user friendly, you could say. And here's one you can give it URL and it does everything for you. That's the idea. I have friends who are in Linux, and it's always a pain getting them to get any mod packs I might want to distribute around the place. And I thought, hey, maybe I can do that, and I did it. That's generally how I go. I always think maybe I can do it. I try to do it, and sometimes it works. Same thing with the malware thing. Like that was back when they fired some people from there, and I thought, huh. Well, I heard that was the entire team. Apparently, it wasn't. There were still people there. But that's like, well, if there's no moderation, I wonder if it's just an Autobot. And I tried to do that, and that worked. Apparently, they had some bugs on their system, and hey, at least I called out to that. It
Yeah.
was what you call a white hat hacking.
Yeah, well, obviously wasn't malicious, but just kind of to demonstrate, I guess, a point. Do you think that like obviously Curse provides a better user experience? Just it's a lot better than I think. It's better for modders, and it's definitely better for users who I think before had to go through shady AdFly stuff. It
Oh,
definitely,
absolutely,
yeah, it's great having
absolutely.
like a standard like that. So I guess you're pretty set in the benefits outweigh whatever licensing or other I guess things that people may not like about it. You think that outweighs it as a modder?
I mean, as a modder, of course, for one, because I get paid for it. So that always skews the vision of someone when you're getting paid. Like, you're not gonna say, "Oh, my employer is so shit," but like, yeah. And then he comes to you, he's like, "What the fuck you doing, mate? Come on, like, you gotta like." The thing is, like, Curse. I said like 5,000 times in one sentence. Curse is more user friendly than most other mod packs. Most other mod launchers. Mostly because you can just make your own mod pack super easily, and most people who have no experience with mod pack making, it's very easy to do it. It also centralizes downloads, which, as you said, means we don't have to go through AdFly. It pays the modders, which is awesome, even with modpack downloads. So back then modpacks were technically, I guess you could say, cutting into revenue. I don't
Mm-hmm.
like using that term because it's a derogatory term. It means, oh, modpacks are stealing our money. They're not. Like, they're really not. But like back then you didn't get money from modpacks, and now you do. It's better. Um, And aside from that, like, there's always the disadvantages. Like, Curse is a bloated as hell program. Like, I don't need the entire voice stuff, and that's what everybody says. Like, I don't need that. It's unnecessary. I think they could do better just by releasing the Minecraft launcher. But hey, whatever. That's that's not a big deal with me because I just skipped to that. But I can see someone who has like a lower end computer having troubles with that, and that might also be a good reason to use Curse downloader. But yeah, overall, I do think it's a positive thing for the community because it fixes a lot of problems we had before. That's what people don't realize. People are like, "Oh my god, Curse are going to ruin modding." I mean, maybe, I don't know, but if they ruin modding, like, what are you going to do? I just moved somewhere else.
Yeah, it almost kind of reminds me of the whole Technic thing. Like Technic's obviously had a open platform that lets people really easily make mod packs for a while. Obviously, it's not curated like Curse. It's kind of on a basis of if a modder has objection, they can take a pack down. But it's on that kind of system. So I guess appeals more to some people who maybe for whatever reason get don't like Technic. It kind of does open up new possibilities for easily making putting
Curse
together a pack.
making, for someone who is not a veteran in the Minecraft scene, making a mod pack with Curse is much easier than making one with Technic. Making one with Technic, you have to compile the mods yourself. You have to mess with file structures, and you have to upload the mod somewhere. You have to do all that stuff. And Curse, just click some buttons and do it. Like the user experience, you might say, "Oh, filthy casual, yada yada," but it's very important for someone who's not very tech savvy.
No, I mean that's hugely important. We always want to get people, I guess, more involved. I guess what I meant by that is, the user base of Technic obviously is I think statistics have shown it's larger than Feed the Beast, but obviously it's
That's a
not.
lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. Are you talking about that graph where Hexit was the biggest mod pack?
Yeah, that.
Yeah, that's a lie. That graph was incredibly skewed.
Okay, well, let's disregard that. Let's just say let's I think stuff has shown that I don't think obviously Technic does not have the mind share that FTB has because they don't have a centralized community that is vocal, and is typically Technic's users are younger and more fragmented. So obviously there's that, but I think there is, whether it be on Technic or somewhere else, a big I guess silent majority that is out there, and I think the community could do well to kind of try to incorporate more with more accessible stuff, and I guess it does help stuff like Curse. In their launcher right there, you can just add mods in that interface. You don't have to mess around with compiling your own zip and uploading that. I think So yeah, it's definitely come a long way from where it was a few years ago.
Like, how am I gonna say this? I disagree with your argument that the younger group is less vocal. The younger group is vocal, but not on the places that really matter. How do I say this? If you have a younger person, I'm not calling young people stupid, but I'm saying that young people are more likely to be stupid, because you're young.
Right,
You haven't had
maturity.
as much
Yeah.
life experience. Like, you can be young and super intelligent, it's fine, but you're more likely to be stupid. And that leads to young people saying, "Oh my god, this mod is broken," and commenting on the Technic pack, saying, "Oh, I can't launch the pack," and no information or whatever, or going to the YouTuber who redirected them there. Like, you might not get the right feedback from that. And at least with Curse, like, at least it kind of boils down. Like, you see a mod is broken, and you have, I believe you have the option to comment right from the interface. I'm not sure from the client. I'm not sure if that's the thing, because I always disable comments on my I always disable comments on my mods because they're a cesspool. But it's good that we have the option to go directly to the mods, whereas in Technic you just have the mod packs, and many of the times you don't even have a mod list.
Right. Well, Technic is, like I said, fragmented. They have two different systems. They have the old modpack zip system that's easier to use, and then they have Solder, which is their more advanced system for downloading packs. That's also even more difficult to use, and really only to be used, I think, mainly large servers like it. But I guess there is this kind of, obviously there is that stigma around Technic even now. But like I
I
said,
I hate that stigma because they fucking work their ass off just to clear it, and it's still
I
there.
know it's dumb, honestly, but I'm gonna say that and I get the hate comments. But like grudges, people do hold
No,
grudges.
I'm gonna go defend sorry, Technic. People are like, "Oh my god, Technic distributed mods without permission." Yeah, they did 5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. I don't know. It's a while ago. Like, after that, they spent years with a big ass GIF on their launcher saying "donate to the modders." They refused to take donations themselves. They operated a website at a loss just so we could donate to the modders. Like, they had this massive website with every modder. They made art for every modder. They said which mods they made. They go, "Oh, here, donate to them," and tell them it came from Technic and all that stuff. They pushed for donating to modders more than anybody else has done, and yet they still get that unnecessary hate for something shitty they did 4 years ago. Like, I think that's completely unreasonable, to be honest.
Yeah, well, some people, are people, and like hold their grudges. But I think the vast majority of the community probably, I think, it doesn't care as much anymore. Honestly, we're not, it's not, we don't have any more exploding bees. Let's just say that. Um, I think that it's kind of
Mm.
sorted out. But back to like curse and stuff. You mentioned you disabled comments. I guess do you just like because some people obviously it's as a modder it's probably annoying having to deal with a bunch of people saying, oh, are you gonna update to this version? Are you gonna fix this bug? How like what approach do you kind of take to I guess like issue tracking and just in general feedback with your mods?
Well, if it's a bigger mod, I usually have a forum thread. I tell people to book me on Twitter. I always have an issue tracker for all my mods on GitHub. I don't like the comment system on CurseForge because it's a big mess. For one, if you write something bigger than 2 paragraphs, it's gonna take up like an entire screen. Two, it's a literal comment system, but it can only chain up once. Not like Reddit, where you can like have a conversation. It becomes almost impossible to find out whatever you're looking at. And there's also the problem that it's it's such a publicly available system that I don't like having to deal with that type of people. Like, when you go to a system that is like, if you want to download a mod pack, you're gonna have to have a Curse account, right? Simple.
Hmm.
If you have a Curse account, the barrier to entry to commenting is basically zero.
Right.
So you're gonna get a flood of idiots. I'm not gonna put it lightly, idiots. You're gonna get a flood of idiots. You're gonna get people, and the people who are interested in actually reporting issues and being nice to you and all that stuff, they're probably intelligent enough to find out the issue tracker or contact you through whatever other means you might have. So what happens then is if you leave the comments up, you're gonna have the good people in there, uh, flooded with the other people. Like, oh my god, I mod crash, fix it. Oh my god, update to 111. Like, no, like, I don't think
Did
there's a
one
need for
eleven?
that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
I'm sure that's an actual comment somewhere. Knowing curse comments, it's not quite as bad as YouTube, but yeah, obviously there is a lower barrier to entry than something like Twitter or GitHub, where obviously if they're using that, they're probably more likely a more mature and I guess reasonable user, probably.
Probably, yeah. I used to use Minecraft forums before. I don't anymore. Minecraft forums, in terms of community, has been a parabola, you could say. Early 2011, 2012, it was awful. It was really bad, almost no moderation. So what you had was people asking, "Oh my god, update the mod! Oh my god, this mod is broken! Oh my god!" Like all that, all the time, constantly, and it was a mess. Then it started cracking down on that, and it was really good for quite a while. And recently, they started cracking down even more. And if you say WTF, you get a 3-day mute. So yeah, like I got muted for 3 days for saying WTF. I'm not kidding.
Oh my god.
I almost got banned for having the word hentai in my profile. And yeah, like all that type of stuff. Like I made a massive post quite a while ago, and that was in August. I made like 4 posts since then. They've all been removed for whatever reason. Like they are, I'm not gonna say they're censoring because they're not censoring. It's their website. They have all the rights to moderate as much as they like, but I think they're over moderating.
Yeah, I mean, I have seen a tendency where, they'll lock threads just for petty stuff. It is kind of this iron fist, basically, approach to moderating. And I don't know. I feel like the Minecraft forums aren't what they used to be in terms of, like, obviously now we have Curse. I mean, same organization, but we have that. We have people have Discord. And then from older people, there's IRC. But there's all these different platforms, and I think I guess I don't know. The Minecraft forums kind of used to be where you had to be if you had a mod or some texture pack or some sort of community contribution. But I guess that's not the case anymore.
And it's good it's not anymore, because Minecraft forums were an awful place to host mod information, because every modder used their own format, and sometimes you had to go on a wild goose chase to find download link. I'm looking at you, Mine and Blade.
Not to mention the fact that their editor is terrible.
Oh god, don't start on that.
Yeah.
I lost my threads like 4 times because I just turned everything into raw HTML.
Yeah. 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 Thank you, BB Code, or not? It's not BB Code's fault. It's just their editor. It's terrible. It's not very good. But yeah. I think it's pretty cool that we've moved past that. But I guess looking towards the future, where do you see, I guess, obviously you've said you're going to work on your existing new mods and possibly working on a secret project. Where do you see, I guess, the modded Minecraft community in general going as we kind of have this transition, which has been pretty nice, like 1.9 to 1.10, really smooth, and I guess 1.11 probably coming in a few months. Where do you see it going?
I mean, how do I see it going? Many mods are already porting to 1.9, 1.10. That's going to take a while, but once they're there, it'll be cool. I see it going in a similar manner to 1.6 to 1.7, really. Like, some mods are going to die, and that's just the way of life. And there's going to be new ones to replace them. It's a cycle, And then some other massive update's going to come out, and hey, mods are going to die, and new ones are going to come to replace them. I hope to see kitchen sink packs that play a bit differently from the ones we have right now, but let's be honest, they're not going to. And I hope to see cool new packs focused around the new mods in 1.10, 1.8, 1.9. And I hope to see less awful quest packs.
By awful, do you mean like grindy or
Let's be honest, not gonna happen. Well, I think that bad quest packs are done by people who can't adapt. When I say that, I mean, okay, here's a mod pack. You are going to learn Botania. Here's 200 quests to make every single item in the mods. You have now learned Botania.
It is kind of robotic. Well, some I'm not gonna call this out because I don't want to hate monger, but like I have seen some packs that are like, oh, we have over 800 quests. Like, cool. Like, are they actually good quests? Like, or is it just like, oh, make 8 dirt blocks, make 16 flowers, whatever. Like,
have you seen the mod pack called Eternal Skies?
If for Infernal, there's an Eternal.
Eternal Skies.
I don't think I've seen that one.
No, it is a HQM mod pack that claims it has hundreds of hours of gameplay, super hardcore gameplay, and you'll not be able to beat it in a day. You know what the quests are?
What?
First quest, you start off next to a cobblestone. First quest, get 1 cobblestone. Second quest, 8 cobblestone. Third quest, 1 stack, and then it just starts going up and up using the compressed cobblestone scale.
I mean, like
That's all the quests. It's hardcore.
that's
It's the
amazing.
best mod pack ever.
I mean, we do have these amazing tools now on one hand, which are awesome, like or Craft Tweaker, I guess, and like better questing or hardcore questing mode, which is what people used before, which are pretty cool. But obviously, some packs, I guess, aren't kind of look the same. I mean, that's not to say that all questing packs are the same. We had some great ones, but I think,
Indeed.
I think you have a point when you, it is our community tends to kind of like basically. Maybe get a little over enthusiastic at the words mind tweaker scripts and lots of quests.
Quests. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I saw a guy made a quest pack. Sorry, I'm not sure how you'd call it. I guess it was a quest series for Quark.
And was it just?
You understand how comedic this is? It was, here's a quest to teach you how dispensers can plant crops. Here, make a dispenser. And the text was copy pasted from the website. Like, how lazy can you get?
He basically
that's
just ported your website to Minecraft.
Yes, and they added recipes to it to make it boring.
Yay.
Like, you can read the website. No. You have to make a dispenser. Like, why? What is the reason I'm making this? That's the reason I don't like Agrarian Skies too. I haven't finished one, so I can't tell you that. But I just hate two. Specifically the Farmcraft quest. Like, here's a bunch of cool add-ons here. Make one of every item and then stuff it in a chest.
Like, what are we trying to do? Someone's just gonna make a Noah's Ark quest pack one day. Just make 2 of every item. And that's gonna be it. I bet you
brilliant.
though.
That's
I
brilliant.
bet you.
Let's just do that.
And now that I've said that, I expected to see on the FTV Reddit like in a few days.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I know
Like,
it's gonna happen.
so I guess when you design your mods, do you kind of you talked a little bit about this on Meet Your Maker. Do you kind of intend, like, you take this approach sometimes of, I mean, I don't know. People have praised you for having good documentation and good configuration, but at the same time,
Wow, good configuration.
you don't. Yeah, your mods. It's not.
joke.
Your mods aren't quite like, hey, I'm gonna let you change everything. Like, you only really let people change,
Some
I guess,
are.
what you feel is appropriate. I guess Quark is more modular in that sense.
Yeah, like, I think is, like, people say it's exactly what I said in Meet Your Maker. There's a time and place for everything. Not every mod needs 500 config files. 500 config options, right? Some mods work better with config options. I'm talking stuff like extra utilities, Quark, random things. Some mods don't. You know, Farmcraft, Witchery, Botania. These I'd rather not have a lot of config options because they're mods that focus on having all the things work together. And if you can just change everything, well, I mean, suddenly I can't design the mod at all because you might be playing something completely different.
Yeah, but like in one sense, I don't know. Like, I think there is definitely value to having your vision for a mod, and obviously that's important. But I've seen stuff like Blightfall, which which is a pack that takes Thaumcraft and completely turns it on its head. Like, hey, basically it turns Taint into a game mechanic and makes it like a sci-fi pack. It's insane. I think stuff like that is really cool. But how do you feel about that as a modder? Like, people kind of reinventing mods to suit their pack or whatever.
Hey, if it works well, it works well, you know? The thing I have to make a distinction is allowing and enabling. Allowing might be, okay, your mind tweaker script can alter my recipes. That's fine. That's allowing. Enabling might be, okay, here's a config option in my mod for every recipe. And if I allow, I am not obliged to fix bugs with it. Like, if you change a recipe and suddenly the mod doesn't work, it's your fault, mate. But if I have config options to change the recipes and you turn one off and suddenly the whole mod breaks, well, that's my fault because I had those config options and I didn't do checking. And there's my difference. Like, I am perfectly fine with someone making a mod that adds like more passive generation, more stuff like that. I mean, it won't be a good mod. I'll be kind of angry that they did it, but I'll be like, okay, that's a bad mod, but I'm not going to take it down. But if you come to me and say, hey, add a config option to make passive powers produce 10 times as more, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, there's a difference. The difference is first party and third party. Like, third party is completely different from something you made yourself.
Right.
And people are like, oh, just add the config option, like, and say it's not supported. No, I can't do that because then if you enable the config option, put it in the major pack, and suddenly everything is broken. Well, the pack is broken, and I have a feature in my mod that is awfully broken. Do you think that is a good idea? It's not a good idea. You should not have unless it's a very clearly debug oriented config option. There is no reason to have a config option that's not supported, you know?
So lots of your mods, you kind of just I guess you have one vision, and if something say changes the balance crazily out of what oh, actually, oh, this reminds me. Yeah, there was a Botania thing a while ago, I think, on Curse, that kind of try to change some balance things, because some people disagreed with what you did.
And you
Uh,
done?
yeah, New Dawn. Well, what was that like?
Well, first off, I wasn't obviously not happy at it because I now I have a direct competitor, and that's not all that great. Um, a lot of people are like, "Oh my god, Vazkii took it down." I didn't. The mod got took down from CurseForge twice. The first time was by Iamaz, one of the moderators there. He said that my license did not apply to assets, therefore he could not reproduce it. And then I went and changed my own license just so he could reproduce it. And then he uploaded it then. And then he took it off for himself, like because people were giving him hate for it. And now it's on GitHub.
It's actually still on CurseForge. By
It's okay. We put it
yeah,
back. Okay.
yep. But yeah, I guess so. You kind of take a maybe not Apple approach, but an approach of like the way I did it is the way I want it, and if you want to change it, then go ahead, but don't try to like re-upload a version with your quote unquote fixes or whatever.
I don't get that last part. Like if my license definitely allows you to re-upload forks. That's what a new Dawn is. A new Dawn is a fork with
Hmm.
their own changes.
But you don't want to see like you don't want to see Botania and New Dawn being what every pack uses, and then people saying like, hey, like what is this balance, or what is this, like why does this generate that much mana or whatever.
Well, I specifically asked the author of that to have a little line in chat saying that it's an official version. It's the same thing you get when you launch Botania for 1.8 and 1.9 and 1.10. I asked those people who make forks to say it's Korean and unofficial version because for like 18 months after I quit Farming Tinkerer, I was getting bug reports from it.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's what you get for having your name. Like if you have your name in the package, if the mod crashes, you're gonna see Vazkii Botania, and you're gonna come to me. So I specifically asked those people to have a little line in chat. It's not required; it's not part of the license. They have the right to deny it, but to say no. But apparently, these people are respectful enough to add it themselves. So there you go. It's
So
good.
it's kind of like a courtesy thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, I guess thank you so much for coming on today. Really interesting discussion. And I guess, do you have any like closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts on water and done. I guess I have
Just
some too. I can say a bit more about that.
maybe that, or just in general, maybe more like general, modded kind of type stuff.
Well, I mean, most of the things I wanted to say in general about the community, I've either said in Meet Your Maker, or I would end up ranting for them for 2 hours. So I don't think there's much use to say them here. Um, I'm a person who sees things in a negative light quite often. Not because I like seeing things negatively, but because when I see things negatively, I know what to avoid and I know what to make better. And that's why I have so many negative opinions towards things. Regarding a new Dawn and forks of the like, people often come to me saying, "Oh my god, you force people to play the way you like," and I don't see why that's a problem in the community. Like, when has it been stated that mods need inherently to be modifiable? And don't you come with me with the argument that Minecraft is a sandbox game? Like, it's still a game. We still have the right to make it the way we want to. Yeah, it's a game about you making your things. But if you're making a thing that just completely breaks the rest of the game, I mean, we have the right to make sure you don't do those things, so you don't break the game.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, people are like, "Oh, this is a sandbox game, so therefore you should allow us to play any way we want to." And I do. If you want to play any way you want, you're more than welcome to fork the mod and make any changes you want. But as long as you're playing with my version, you're playing under my rules, and that's what I think a lot of people get pissed about. That I'm not. Everyone can do whatever they want, and I will fully support it and take the blame if anything breaks. Like, no, if you break the mod, I'm gonna fix it for you. That's usually how I work. And people get pissed about it for some reason. Regarding general things, there's that. The whole. I talked about this on Meteor Maker as well. The whole do mod pack maker. Do players play mod packs who are made from mods, or do modders make mods for mod packs for players? It's a bit of a difference. Like who are they making things for? and some people think one way, some people think in the other, and it's kind of makes things a bit awkward.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that attitude, like we talked about before, I think Technic, for better well, probably for better, has definitely made that attitude different. Like it used to be, people make mods so that people can install them manually or just for personal enjoyment, and now it's that, but it's also people make mods so that people can use them in cool ways and actually make really neat stuff with it, like we've seen with some of the, I guess, best packs we have available for 1.7 and other versions.
I guess Technic went to a very, very major paradigm shift because when Technic started, it was like, oh, screw modders with their rat flies and their things and stuff. And then they realized, oh shit, we're being retards. And then they're like, hey, donate to the modders, they're cool and stuff. And yeah, it's good that people do that shift in mentality.
Yeah, and I think naturally the community just kind of evolved off of AdFly and all that user hostile stuff. I mean,
Good thing, yes.
obviously, yeah.
Except for Forge. Forge still using that.
Well, it's not quite ad. It's their own thing. It's
Oh,
ad.
it's ad focus. It's
Yeah,
basically the same thing, let's be
yeah.
honest.
I mean, I don't know. People need to make money, but at the same time, I don't know. Maybe that too will improve over time. But I think
Yeah, money is a bit of a taboo in this community for some reason.
it's a
Like
difficult.
whenever you say, "Oh, this mother is making money," then everyone's gonna like, "Oh my God, the passion! Think about the children."
it's
Every time,
it's like Steam mods. Like
there's
the ex-
always someone who's like, "Oh, mods should be made for fun, and if you get money on making them for fun, and now his mods are gonna be shit because you're making them just to steal money of the community." Like, mate, come on, chill. It's fine.
you
Yes,
try.
what I'm trying to imitate the voice of the average people, the average person who says that. If modders get money, they're more likely to make more mods. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that's the reason I'm still making mods. Not the reason I make mods, is the reason I'm still making them. Because if I wasn't making the amount of money I make, I'll probably quit a while ago and be making something else that benefits me more in life. Like, yeah, modding is fun and I enjoy doing it, but it's you can't really justify committing hundreds of hours to it a month. If you wanna, if you're not getting paid for it.
Well, yeah, people shouldn't look at it in such a binary way. Like, oh, either he's doing it completely for passion, he's a starving artist, or he's just like Mr. McGreedy pants, whatever.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, people want to make money too, but at the same time, people like making mods. And if they didn't, they would probably make their own game or do whatever to make more money. If that's the case,
Yeah.
it's not. I mean, like people, no one mods for money, but at the same time, it's kind of important. So yeah, I guess good thing we have stuff like Patreon too.
I mean, modding for money is definitely a thing. As I said, it's what I do. Like I like modding. I definitely do, and I like making cool stuff. But at the same time, like I could not justify spending so much time making this cool stuff if I wasn't getting paid. I'm not saying, oh, support me on Patreon, give me money. I'm like, whatever, do whatever you want. Like if you like my mods, sure, go for it, but don't do it for pity. Like a lot of people don't like you saying stuff. Like if you're talking about money, and if you then talk negatively about yourself in any way, that's always seen as money whoring, always. And I always have to offer a disclaimer, like, no, like I'm just stating my situation and what's going on with me, and do that stuff if you want to. Don't do it if you don't. I'm perfectly fine with it. It's just how I work.
Yeah. Well, I think that's definitely an important part of the community, and I'm glad that I think at least it's better than it was, and it's hopefully getting better. But yeah, I guess thanks so much for coming on today. Been an honor having
Yep,
you
cool.
on. This was a bit of a longer episode, but I'm sure lots of people watching will hopefully enjoy that. For those of you that made it through, and I guess see y'all guys in the next one.
No
Goodbye.
lives.
Yeah. Goodbye.
See ya.